So today we are doing a beginner's guide on utilizing the Ally Bank Account app. Now we're actually going to be showing you here in real time, as you can see here on screen, all the different features and functionalities you can be using when it comes to getting started with this account. Now, if you want to keep on learning more when it comes to using this account, I'm actually going to have more detailed videos when it comes to using the Zelle functionality of Ally, and I'll have that at the end of the video as well as in the show notes down below. Now, you don't need to see my face when we're going through this, so I'm going to go off screen here just so you can see the account all in real time. Now, again, as a beginner's guide, we just kind of want to break some different things down if you haven't already used the Ally account or want to kind of get a better understanding of this account. Now, we're going to be on our snapshot page right over here. It's pretty much the home page of our account. Now, for our example here today, we just have savings accounts, but you might also have a checking account as well. They function pretty similarly outside of the APY when it comes to what you can functionally do on the back end, and I'll show you that as well. Now, here towards the top, you're of course going to see your current total, and this is with all of your accounts all together. If you're like myself or other users where you might have multiple savings accounts for different savings types, whether it's like, saving for an emergency fund or saving towards Christmas or birthdays or anything, those are all going to be individually set up here, but you can see your total all together towards the very top, which is always really nice. Now, if you keep on going up towards the top right-hand side, you're going to see this little bubble over here if you need any support from them. And then they also do have the ability to have inbox for any messages that they are trying to inform you about, whether it's interest rate changes or any other kind of things that are going on with the app itself. And then there is an FAQ over here toward the top. Now, if we go down over here, you're going to see sometimes you might get a pre-approval for, using their credit cards or other kind of loans that they have available for you. But from us here, we're going to go down to our savings accounts. Now, we have two in our example here today. And if we click into the first one over here, you're going to see some information here for you. There's ability to transfer between different savings accounts or savings and checking or external accounts into your Ally account. You can actually deposit checks in here as well too. And then your Zelle functionality, like I mentioned, we're going to go into more detail in another video. Now here in the more section, if you click here, you're going to see some things like customizing your account view. You can do, again, those direct deposits, but you can also give your accounts nicknames. So if you want this to be like the emergency fund, you can have it as that name. You can choose different kind of alerts based off of the total amount in the account. So if it gets withdrawn over a certain dollar amount, you can have those alerts. And then you can also order deposit slips and envelopes, as well as get your statements and tax forms. Now it's typically toggled over to your activity feed right over here. So you can see all your transactions that you've ran through. You can look at your transactions by searching for them. And then they have what they call buckets over here. And you can go ahead and add buckets and goals. And this just kind of helps you go and break down things a little bit more for your account and what you're trying to achieve. So if, again, you want to have multiple accounts and kind of have a better idea of the goals you're trying to reach, this really gives you that option. And I'm going to show you what this looks like over here. So we're going to click on this, and then you can see all the different types of things that you can be saving for. Maybe it's a car, maybe it's vacations, maybe it's for a pet, any of these kind of things. So let's click on vacation as this example. And it does let you know you can do more if you really want, but we just want to do the one. And we're going to click on next. Now from here, it's going to ask you how you would want to pretty much power up your savings. And what this really means is that there are ways you can kind of just set yourself up for success. You can do recurring deposits. You can set your actual goals, which really is nice. So that way you can see percentage goals growth. And then you can add money to your buckets by distributing your balances across your buckets. So for this, let's go ahead and just set up an example here for us. And we're going to click on that vacation. And we're going to say, what is our total target amount that we want to save? I'm gonna click on here, and let's just say it's $250. This is a really cheap vacation, right? So we're gonna click on done here. And then if we want to, we can add a target date. You don't have to, but you can. And this just kind of gives you an idea of setting things up for actual dates. And then you can see here too, just nice reminder for your travels. You might be saving for transportation, lodging, meals, entertainment, and everything else as well too. But everything looks good here for us. We're going to click on set goal. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and click on view buckets. And then from here in our buckets, this is going to be with this core savings account. So it's kind of like a sub account for the typical savings account that we already have. And we can add additional buckets here for us. If we scroll down here, we can see where we want our interest to be paid, and we can choose to have it pay into the vacation fund or back into our core fund. And then you can see, where do our deposits go? Where do our withdrawals come from? And then if we want to change up any of our goals, if everything looks good here for us, we can just go ahead and close up here at the very top and then hit close again. And then from right over here, we can see over here that in this particular account, we have our one bucket here. So it's kind of like a sub account for our savings. So it's just easier to visualize. So if you're like myself and like those visualizations, that'll be there for you. So you can kind of have that money split. And you can see right now, we have $250 that we're aiming for with $0 in here for this really, really cheap vacation. And then we can continue to build up, and we'll see that continue to grow as we add money into this account. Now, next up here is going to be the booster section. And this again is just really for getting your habits put into a really good place to be able to set yourself up for success. We talked earlier about recurring deposits. Maybe you get paid every 2 weeks and you want, $200 to go into these savings accounts. That's really setting yourself up for success. You could do roundup feature here as well too. So if you have their debit card, you can go ahead and have that round up, which just means any transaction you do, it's going to round up to the next dollar. So that way it pulls that money into your savings. And then you could do right over here, it says surprise savings. It says we'll analyze checking accounts you add for us to track and then transfer money when it could work harder for your savings, which means just, hey, you got a bonus or a larger sum of money than expected. It'll pull some of that money over so that way you can start earning interest on it and you can actually start having additional money into your savings. Now, of course, you do not have to choose these. These are just additional functionalities for your accounts. So from back here, we went back to the home page or what they call the snapshot page. You can make transfers in this account, again, either coming from individual external accounts, or you can switch between the different savings accounts you have, or even the Ally checking account you might have. You could choose the frequency, the date, and then any notes for yourself as well to be able to do those transfers. Now we went over to the menu page over here on the bottom right-hand side. And from here, you can see your Zelle settings, which again, we'll have a separate video for, or in the show notes down below if you want to check them out. There's also the ability to do wire transfers as well as bill pay if you have the checking account available for you. You can also deposit your checks in here as well. Now, what's really nice too is that you can actually get your credit score tracker. So if you want to be paying attention to your credit score, you can actually do that now with Ally. And then you can set up all your different alerts as well as updating and changing out any linked accounts. And then from here, you can also have access for your debit card. So you can change any of the settings from there. Now, they also have an Explore tab over here too, which kind of gives you additional benefits and features. You can see here, there's different types of accounts that you can be opening up, whether it's additional spending accounts, whether it's additional savings, or even CDs as well, and even money market accounts. And you could even start opening up with an investing account for Ally directly. So they have the different options and different features that you can open up directly inside of your app without having to always go onto a desktop to continue to open up additional accounts. Now, like I mentioned, this is a beginner's guide. So we just wanted to cover some of the most basic functionalities when it comes to utilizing the Ally account. And of course, there's always going to be more to learn once you get started on this account. Now, if you don't already have an Ally account, I will have a link for you in the show notes down below so you can go ahead and get started. And that's going to get you a nice exclusive bonus using our link. And that link does help support us out so we can make more free content just like this for you. Now, speaking of free content, I actually want to show you how to use the Zelle functionality on your Ally account. And we're going to have that video right over here for you to check out.